Have you ever stood in front of your refrigerator, staring inside, trying to figure out what to make without having to run out to the grocery store again? Well, I'm Denise Jordan from Homemaking with Denise, and in this video, I'm going to show you 3 meals that I made from my fridge, my freezer, and my pantry. 3 budget-friendly meals that I made without going out to shop. And this video is part of my $10 grocery budget challenge, where we make every dollar, every item, every little bit of food count. And I do it all without sacrificing flavor or nourishment. So if you've been feeling the pinch at the grocery store, or you just want to get creative using what you've got on hand, you're in the right place. Let's get it started. Today's meal is for Sunday dinner, and I am making a classic pot roast. I had shopped my shelves and looked in my produce basket and saw that I had some potatoes that needed using up, and I knew they would be perfect with the pot roast. I always keep carrots and onions on hand, so I went ahead and got those out and prepped those before I started working with the roast. And once I get it out of the package, I get it seasoned up with a little salt and pepper and some of Miss Leona's house seasoning. I pour a little olive oil in the skillet, and then I begin to caramelize those onions just a little bit. Once the onions are translucent and have just a little bit of brown on them, I toss in the carrots. When I'm making a pot roast, I like to cut the carrots at an angle because I plan to serve the carrots as part of the veggies. Once I've got a little color on those carrots, I remove them from the skillet. Then it's time to work on that roast. I press it to the bottom of the pan, making sure I get a good sear on that side. And then I flip it over and sear the other side. And I'll try to sear every side of the roast. So I'll turn it on the side, I'll turn it on the end until I've gotten as good a sear as I can all the way around. Once I've got a good sear on it, I take it out of the pot and set it on top of the carrots and onions. And then I deglaze the bottom of my pan. I give it a good scrape, and then I add a little beef broth to try to get up all of that goodness. Now it's time to add the roast back to the pot, and then I pour in the rest of the beef broth. I want the broth to come up a little over halfway on that roast. It doesn't have to completely cover it, but it needs to be at least halfway or higher. And then the carrots and potatoes go back into the pot. I also needed some fresh herbs, so I went out to my herb pot and clipped some thyme and some rosemary. I gave it a good rinse off camera, and then I just sprinkled it on top. Now it's time to get the lid on and pop that roast in the oven. Now here's the thing about getting a fork tender pot roast. You want to cook it low and slow. So I put it in a preheated oven at 275 degrees, and then I just let it roast in there for about 4 hours. This pot roast turned out beautifully. It was fork tender and it tasted absolutely delicious. And the mashed potatoes and gravy on the side just kicked it up a notch. And there's plenty left over, so I'm going to make beef and noodles later in the week, so be sure to come back for that. To make gravy, you use 1 tablespoon of fat, 1 tablespoon of flour, and a cup of liquid. So I'm using 1 tablespoon of butter, and once that melts down, I add in a tablespoon of flour, whisk that in, cook off the flour taste. You add in a cup of broth, give that a good stir, and then let it simmer until it thickens to the consistency that you want. You also can add in any seasoning or spices. Using some of the broth of the meat that you're cooking with just gives it a lovely flavor. So on the clips that I'm showing you, I'm making chicken gravy, but for the gravy for today, I actually made beef gravy. So I took a cupful of the broth that I had on the beef and used that as my cupful of liquid, and it was so delicious. This video is brought to you by Aprondiva. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Visit us at www.aprondiva.com. Beef and noodles with mushrooms was the perfect weeknight meal, mostly because the hardest part, the roast, was already cooked. All I needed to do was boil the noodles, saute the mushrooms, and make the sauce. I used wide Amish-style noodles. Mrs. Miller's brand is my favorite for this kind of dish. While the noodles cooked, I melted about 2 tablespoons of butter in a skillet and sauteed the sliced mushrooms. I seasoned them simply with salt, pepper, and a touch of dried oregano, preserved from last year's herb harvest. Once the mushrooms were tender, I set them aside and got started on the sauce. I poured some reserved beef broth into the same skillet, the same broth used to cook the roast, so it was already full of flavor from the slow roasted spices and vegetables. I also added about a cup of leftover gravy I'd made on Sunday for the mashed potatoes. For extra depth, I stirred in a teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, the last bit that I had, by the way, and thickened everything with a cornstarch slurry. Once the sauce came together, I shredded the leftover roast and added it back in along with the mushrooms. I drained the noodles and gently folded them into the beef and gravy mixture, being careful not to break them up. We served it with a side of green beans, and it was so good. We had enough not only for dinner, but also for lunch the next day. Today, I'm making Miss Leona's brandied apple chicken, using what I had in the fridge, the freezer, and the pantry. I found some chicken legs in the freezer that needed to be used up, and I had a few tart Granny Smith apples that were perfect for this dish. These chicken legs came from the manager's special section at Kroger, so I wanted to cook them while they were still good. Even though they were pre-seasoned, I added a little of Miss Leona's house seasoning, one of my favorite blends, and browned them in a bit of olive oil. While the chicken browned, I prepped my onion and apples, saving the peels in a freezer bag to use later for broth. Once browned, I set the chicken aside and got my rice started. 1½ cups of rice with just under 3 cups of water. a teaspoon of butter, and a teaspoon of salt in the rice cooker. It's hands off and keeps the rice warm until I'm ready to serve. While the rice cooked, I snipped some fresh basil from my herb pot. Growing my own herbs is one way I save money on everyday meals. Next, I sauteed onions and a green pepper that was definitely on its last leg. Once softened, I added the apples, basil, and a little salt and pepper and brown sugar. For extra texture, I tossed in a few more sliced apples with the skin still on. Now this recipe calls for brandy, but I didn't have any. So I Googled a substitute and found that bourbon whiskey would work. So I added a cup of apple juice and a 1/4 cup of bourbon, which created a warm, flavorful sauce. Off camera, I stirred in about a 1/4 cup of toasted flour to thicken the sauce. Then the chicken went back in to simmer in that beautiful sauce for about 25 minutes. While that cooked, I sauteed the last of the mushrooms I had in the fridge, just trying to use everything up. When the chicken reached 170 degrees internally, it was ready to serve. We had it with the rice and sauteed mushrooms, and it was absolutely delicious. So that wraps up my 3 meals, from a classic pot roast to a brandied apple chicken, using ingredients that I had on hand. From markdown meats to pantry staples to last chance vegetables and homegrown herbs, every ingredient had a purpose. If you're feeling inspired, check out my $10 grocery budget challenge. It's not too late for you to start. Whether you're watching this video now or later, you can see how creative you can be by shopping your kitchen first, by checking out what's available in your fridge, your freezers, or your pantry. And if you like these kind of budget-friendly videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment below, particularly letting me know if you've had to swap out any ingredients for something you've tried to make recently, or which one of these recipes would you like to try first? Inquiring minds want to know.